Hi, everyone. I'm Virginia, Head of Solutions Engineering from TeamOhana and your local TeamOhana Computer expert. In this session, we're going to walk through an org design use case. So let's say you're the HRBP partnering with the SVP of engineering, and he's building out next year's headcount plan, and you want to be able to guide him on org design, making sure that every manager ends up with a healthy span of control. So normally that's an org chart export or a headcount report, and that data becomes stale the day you finish it as things are changing and happening on the team every single day. So we're going to do this type of org design work in TeamOhana instead, where we can pull from your always fresh live headcount plan in TeamOhana and ask additional questions and build out a live org design model as we go. So let's start with a simple question here. I just want to ask the computer about engineering span of control. If this is your first time learning about the TeamOhana computer, you can think of it as a digital coworker that can not only answer simple questions like the one I asked here, but also actually help you build interactive dashboards and apps, create slide decks, and even take actions on your behalf. And we'll go through all of those use cases in this quick video today. Now, when I ask the computer a question, it recognizes my user access controls. So it knows who's asking and will only be able to return results for the headcount and employee data that I, as an HRBP, have access to. So in this case, we're focusing on the engineering team because that's the organization I support. This also means that your SVP of engineering can actually run some of this modeling themselves, depending on how they want to understand their headcount plan. Okay, great. So the computer has returned our results here. We have our engineering span of control broken down by our current state showing overspan and underspan managers, and then factoring on the forecast on top of that. So with our headcount plan, we can see that Amber is forecasted to go from a normal span of control to overspan, which I've set at specific. Then coming down, we have some practical recommendations. Now, a few good things here. Our product engineering and AI engineering team seems to just be split where we have some overspan and some underspan managers. So just some reorgs rebalancing the load can help even that out here. And then the system is also flagging that we have 41 open headcounts with no hiring manager set. So until those are assigned, we can't actually properly assess our true span of control. So let's go ahead and correct that and do some of that planning now. So let's say I'm meeting with the head of data engineering, and I want to see all of those headcounts that head of data planned, but has not yet assigned one of the hiring managers on their team. So the TeamOhana computer is going to look across our open approved hiring plan to surface all of those different headcount. And it's able to deep link into each one of them. So if I want to click into one and understand more of the details, I can do that, look at the history, for example, and see when the headcount was initially requested for more context. Now from here, I could do a number of things. I could ask the system to make a recommendation about which managers in my data engineering department have span available in order to assign a headcount. But let's say I just know that I want to assign this headcount to a specific manager. So I'm going to say assign. Now, from here, I have lots of different options. I could ask this computer to make a recommendation about which hiring managers in data engineering have capacity to take on additional new headcount. But let's just say in this case, I know that this headcount is supposed to be assigned to Michelle. So I'll tell the computer to assign this headcount to Michelle as the hiring manager. Whenever you ask TeamOhana computer to take an action, it's always going to do a dry run of that action and get you to confirm it before committing. So you have complete control over all of the actions the computer takes on your headcount plan. So in this case, it's asking me to confirm that it should assign Michelle Turner as the hiring manager to our headcount. Now, just to show you live how this will work, we have our TUH 326. If I come into TeamOhana, we can see this concept here, and we can see in the hiring details, there's no hiring manager assigned. And if I come back here and press apply, the computer will now go ahead and assign Michelle. So when we refresh here, you'll now see that Michelle has been assigned and their span of control will be updated accordingly. So that's how easy it is for the computer to answer simple questions and take actions on your behalf. Now let's actually build out a standing view, something that my SVP of engineering can work against while he's still building out the headcount plan, and more of an org design dashboard that he can always come back to and refresh with live data from. We'll start a new chat, and we'll begin with a simple 3-sentence prompt. The key to building out dashboards in the TeamOhana computer is the same as you would prompt any best-of-breed LLM. Start with some specific instructions and then iterate from there once you have a working result to work on. So a few tips on what to include in your prompt. You should specify what data to use. So in this case, I'm specifying the parameters of my search, like looking at ratios of engineers to product managers and account executives. I'm also specifying that I want my org broken down by divisions in terms of number of heads as opposed to in dollars. I'm giving some context as to the purpose of the dashboard. But you can also frame this in terms of what question do you want the dashboard to answer. I could say I want to assess my span of control, or I want to make sure that none of my managers are overloaded. And then always be sure to specify any other constraints like the types of filters that you want to be included. Okay, exciting. The computer has returned our org design dashboard for us. So we can see it's also giving us a brief explanation that we'll have 4 tabs. Let's click in and take a look. Now you'll see the org design dashboard opens on the right. And the intention here is that this is just a first pass. Let's go through and understand it. And then if we want to make any tweaks, we can still do that in the chat here. The first tab is our org breakdown, and it's showing us that division summary we asked for so we can understand what percentage of the company each division makes up. The second tab is our span of control analysis, again, broken down by division. Third tab is assessing our different org layers, and again, breaking that down by division. And then our fourth tab are those key ratios we asked for, our ratio of account executives to sales development representatives, and then engineers to product managers. Since this is our first pass, let's go ahead and add a follow-up prompt to make sure that we're incorporating the forecast into this view as well. Okay, so the computer updated us to version 2 and it gave us an overview of what it changed. Let's take a look at the new version. The dashboard looks pretty similar, but we've stacked the bar charts so that we can take into account our current headcount and then our to be hired headcount for the complete forecast picture of the org breakdown. And then similarly, the forecast headcount have been brought into all of the other tabs. So there you go. Hopefully you can see how easy it is to build your own org design dashboards. Feel free to play around with the TeamOhana computer and build the views that are most relevant to you and how you like to work with your business counterparts to plan. You also saw how easy it was to get insights and take action directly from the computer as well. Check out some of our other recordings for more tips and tricks on how to best use TeamOhana Computer. Until next time.